All right, so now that we have our character, and you may or may not have it rigged at this point, what I want to do is create the environment. So what we're going to do first is this. We're going to make a new collection. So I'm just going to hit M in here, the letter M like M&Ms, and then do a new collection. Oh, I guess we'll select the objects first. So select, I'm in object mode, right? Yeah. So select all of your character objects. I don't need this. Let's try that again. This guy, control this. Select all of them, then hit M and do a new collection. And we're just going to call this like character. That's fine for now. If you have a name of the character, you can put that in there. And that way they can be in there and I can just turn it off if I want, so it's not in the way, which will definitely be helpful. Let's make another collection. So um, let's see. How do I right click new collection. And then we'll just write environment. Okay, and that way when we make our elements, they'll automatically just, because whatever's on the bottom is the last one that gets um, stuff added to it. So what we're going to do is we're just going to make buildings and stuff like that, really basic box modeling stuff. I don't want to do anything that's overly complicated because it'll just be hard to do. So what we'll do is I'm going to hit, let me turn this guy on just so I can see my, okay. I'm going to hit Shift A. We're going to go, or you can go to make sure in object mode. We're going to add mesh, and then go ahead and you can choose. Let's choose plane to begin with. This will just be our ground. So I'm going to select it, and let's just call this ground. All right, so that'll be our ground, and I'm going to hold. We're going to hit G, and then I'm hit Z, and I'm just going to pull it down. So it's basically at the guy's feet. We'll say like that. G, C. It's a little too. There we go. Okay. And then I'm just going to hit S and I'm just going to make it way bigger. Something like that. Let's hit S and make it bigger again. And that looks fine. And then that way he'll have a ground plane to walk on. Great. Okay. Next we'll need are some buildings, right? So wish it was a little bit longer. So I'm going to hit S and then I want to scale in X. So S, X, and we'll just scale it this way. Like so. All right, wonderful. Okay. So let's go ahead and we will just make some buildings. So I'm just going to hit Shift A this time, go to Mesh, and we're going to choose Cube. It'll look like this. I have my stuff not like, I have that off from before. So I'm just going to go ahead and G and move it back like this. So it's basically on the ground. And then let's hit S to scale this up. So I'm just trying to think of what this will look like. So I turn this off. What's it look like in the camera? That's probably an okay size. So we'll say that will be the size of it. Um, and then let's turn this back on so I can see. Let's move this back actually a little bit and on the ground. And I'll make it a little bit bigger actually. That and G. We're gonna go like that. Okay. So this will be our first building. I want to scale it upwards. So we haven't done any modeling yet. But we have done the transforms and things like that. So I just want to make it taller, and basically make this a little more. Actually, you know what? We'll make that the size of the first building. That'll be fine. So that'll be our first building. Let's go ahead and do Shift D, and then I want to move it on X. I'm gonna hit X, and I'm just gonna move it over here, and I want this building to be taller. So I'm going to go into edit mode. We're going to tab, and then you'll see that the 3D objects are made up of vertices, which if I hit 1, this is vertex. You can see them up here as well. If I hit 2, this will be edge mode. And if I hit 3, this will be faces. Okay, so I'm going to grab the top face, and I'm just going to do G, and then I'm hit Z, and I'm just going to pull it up. So it's a taller building like that. Yay. Okay. And then we'll just hit tab and let's also, so I'm gonna hit tab to go back into edit mode. I'm gonna hit S. Oops, sorry, I'm in S, and I'm gonna hit Shift Z, which will scale it and everything but the up, and I'm just gonna scale it so it's a little bit fatter than the other one, like so. What does this look like as far as this is concerned? Okay, so it's just gonna look like it's huge. Okay, so let's take this one. I'm gonna hit Shift D, and we'll hit X, and I'm just gonna move it across this way, and I'm just gonna hit S to scale it down a little bit. So it's a little bit smaller, and G and Z, and I'm just going to move it down. Okay, so basically you're just going to put outbuildings sort of like that. What I want to do is just basically block everything out. It would be nice if maybe he was on a sidewalk, I was thinking, or to have a sidewalk maybe behind him. So to do that, it's gonna be pretty easy. I'm just going to hit Shift A. We're gonna go to Mesh, and let's go ahead and we will just add another cube. I'm gonna take this cube, and we're just going to G, put it down on the ground next to him, like so. Let's do S, um, and actually, that scale's about right. I just want it thinner, so we're gonna do S and then Z, and I'm just gonna scale it down so it's more like sidewalk size. And then we'll just do G and Z, and I'm just gonna move it down until it's kind of on the ground. Looks good. And let's see, let's look at it through the camera. And it looks a little too small actually. So let's go out of the camera. I'm gonna hit S to make this a bit bigger. And I think usually they're a little bit longer than they are tall. So I'm going to hit S and X and scale it out this way just a touch. All right. And that'll be my first piece of sidewalk. Is that in the ground? It is. Okay. So now I'm just going to do Shift D. I'm going to hit X and I'm just going to move it over here like so. Right. And then we'll do Shift D and X and I'm going to move it over here like so. And then Shift D and X and move it over here like so. All right. And so these are not as close as they should be. So let's do not X, sorry. Uh, G and X again, and I'm just going to pull it back a little bit and grab this one, G and X, and pull that back a little bit. Okay. It might be nice if maybe I had like a trash can or something, right? So I'm going to grab all of these actually. Let's do Shift D again and X, and I'm just going to slide it back here. So you could do a whole bunch of these, but that will give me kind of the illusion of having a sidewalk. And maybe what we'll do is actually just actually have them on the sidewalk. So let's take this and we'll just do G and Y, and I'm just going to put it underneath him, and that way he's on there. And let's just take him. No, I can't do it that way. So we'll just say that's fine. Okay. Okay. So that is now sidewalk. Let's hit this, and yeah. So now it looks like he's on a sidewalk. That looks great. Maybe it'd be nice to have a trash can. So a trash can, more or less, would be. Oops, that's not what I meant to do. Would be Shift A, Mesh, and then this time we're going to choose a cylinder. And you can see there's a cylinder there. So I'm just going to take this and we'll just do G, and I'm just going to put it back here. And let's just put it, let's say over here. I'm just hitting G. It needs to be a little bit bigger, so we'll do S and Z. It needs to be taller, I mean. So like that's probably fine. And let's do G and Z like that. That looks okay. And then we need to, if you look at, see, you can see the faceting, which I don't really want. So let's go into tab. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit 3. And we're going to grab all of, I'm going to hit Shift Z to look through it. I'm going to go like this, which will click. That doesn't really actually work. It's weird. Let's see if I do X-ray will. Okay, X-ray will. Okay, so I'm going to go like this to grab all of the edges inside. I'm going to hit Shift Z to get back out of that. So we have all those. Then go to face, and we're just going to go ahead and do shade smooth. And then you'll see now it's like that. Next, what I want to do is trash cans are usually a little bit thinner down here. So I'm going to hit tab. I'm going to hit 1, and then I'm going to hit Shift Z to go into vertex mode. I'm going to grab these bottom ones. So just kind of click and drag. I'll hit Shift Z. You have to go into wireframe in order to see through, grab the ones behind. Then we'll just hit S, and I'm just going to scale it in a little bit like that. Great. Okay. Now it needs a trash can handle. So I'll just hit Shift D. I'm going to hit Z. I'm going to bring it up here. And then what I'm going to do is let's rotate this 190 degrees. So I'll hit R. I'm going to hit Control, which is increment. And we'll go like, oh, I need to make sure it's on the Y axis. So I'm going to hit R, Y, then hold Control. And then we're just going to go until it's basically this way. I'm going to hit S, and then we're going to hit Z, so it's scaled this way, because I want to thin it so it's roughly the right size for the lid. Let's say like that. Let's hit G and Z. Let's bring this back down. And then let's hit S to make this a little bit bigger overall. And then there we go. There's the trash can lid, right? So you can see we're kind of getting our pieces. If we click on this, we can get kind of a rough overview. And we can kind of build a lot of things like this. So if we want to do a fire hydrant, you could just kind of do, let's say we're going to do a fire hydrant just for fun. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do Shift A. We're going to go to Mesh. We're going to again choose the cylinder. and I'm going to do G. Let's put that over here. And I'm going to make sure it's on the ground. And let's just do S for scale. So scale down. Then let's do S and Z so it scales up. That looks okay. And G. And let's go like this. Make sure it's in the ground. And then what I'm going to do is same thing I did before. I'm at Tab. And then I'm going to hit Shift Z. And again, you might need to click on this part as well. We're going to hit 3. And I'm going to grab just the centers here. I'll hit Shift Z to bring everything back. I don't want the top, and if you have the top selected, it kind of might look a little weird. I'm going to do Shade Smooth and Tab. Okay, good. So now I'm just going to use this mostly to create all the pieces. So we'll just do Shift D. It's gonna want to move. So I'll just right click, and then I'm going to hit S to scale out a little bit. Then I'm going to hit S and Z, scale it like this. So scale it down. And then we'll do G and Z. This will be the base of it, let's say. Okay. Then we'll do Shift D and then Z. This will be the top, right? You can kind of see where we're going with this. Okay, then we'll hit Shift D, and then this needs to come forward. So it's going to be Y. So I'm going to hit Y. I'm going to pull it forward a little bit, and then it's got to rotate, and I need to rotate on X. So I'm going to hit R, then X. I'm going to hold Control, and I want to rotate it 90 degrees. Oops, that wasn't quite right. R, X, Control. Okay, and then I'm going to G on Y, get it up so it's basically kind of touching that. Good. Then we're going to hit S to scale this down. So I'm just making basically where the funnel part comes out. And then G and Z, like so. And then let's do S and Y to lengthen this out, like that. All right, that looks pretty good. And then we need the top. That's usually that round thing. So I'm just going to hit Shift A. We're going to go to Mesh. We're going to go ahead and do UV Sphere. That looks good. Let's hit Tab, hit A to select all, go to Face and Shade Smooth so that it's smooth. Then go back into Object Mode, and then we're just going to G, move it over here, and then G. We're gonna have to just do our best to eyeball this. There are ways of doing it more exactly, but I don't want to get too carried away. And I'm just gonna kind of set it like that. And then I'll just go to this front view and do G, set it like that. And then you can see, right, starting to look kind of like the fire hydrant. I'm just going to Shift D, put this, hit Z. I don't remember exactly what this looks like, but we'll hit S to scale, and then S and Z to scale up. Feel like that's about right. Okay, so that's all I'm really looking for you to do, at least to start with. So now we kind of have a trash can. We have this, like, let's say with a trash can, we want to have the handle. We can just do that with like a box if you want, like you just do another cube and you stick it on top. But that's all I'm really looking for is something more or less like this. Just build out your objects as simple objects, and then you'll see what we'll do with it in the next videos. And if I click on this and then we click here, you can see we already have kind of a 3D view. So when he's walking across, say we do this, right? And he's walking across, we'll have the this background in perspective, and that'll be pretty cool. Okay, so that's what we are looking at. All right, I'm going to unlock that. Okay, so just build out your kind of your environment. What I suggest doing is just doing like a city or something that's, because you could do a bench real easy by doing a bunch of cubes. Just kind of a simple thing like that. I wouldn't try necessarily to try and do trees just because that would be a lot of work. If you want to do trees, what you could literally do is just draw them as a separate plane, and maybe I'll show you that at the end.